Howdy, welcome back to the channel. So today you're going to be digging at the Old Marker Ranch, which is a petrified wood dig site here in Sweet Home, Oregon. I'll have all the information in the description of this video, but I'm going to flip you around here. Digging out in that field out there, we're going to try to find some petrified wood. We're going to also do some surface checking and see if anyone left anything cool behind. I haven't been out here in quite some time, but I am hoping to find some really cool stuff. I packed a little light today. Only brought some smaller tools just because my green cart is out of commission. Got a really bad tire and I couldn't afford to fix it because I was going to invest in some of those non-flat tires so I don't have to worry about air. But being almost $30 a tire, I'm going to wait a little bit. So let's go ahead and get unpacked and get out into the field and see what we can find. For anyone that does come out here, be sure to contact the owners or the person in charge before coming out, so make sure you know kind of what's going on. Porta potty on the other side of that truck over there at the time of recording. And there are renters that rent the house behind me, so they don't want anyone bugging the renters. And there's also cattle around the property that they don't want people bugging, so be sure to respect the owners' wishes on the property if you're ever out here. That way we can be sure to keep this dig site open as long as possible, so keep that in mind. So already I've noticed that the landscaping has changed a little bit. I think they moved a few fences around. There's now a fence right here. There used to not be a fence there. And it looks like there's some fresh open ground that's been that they recently dug up. So we're gonna check that out first before we venture on off yonder. And so I'm gonna poke around here, check out the surface finds, and then we'll pick a spot and start digging. So out here there is literally petrified wood everywhere. I mean, we got some tailings over here, and you can find some cool stuff on the tailings. So you got wood like that, and normally I would just pick up anything cool, but since you guys already know I have a large pile of rock in the backyard, I'm gonna try to be a little picky today. But there's some pretty good sized stuff out here. Just a matter of what you're looking for or what you want to find, and I'm sure you can find it either on the surface or by digging. And there are definitely seasons out here. So right now this would be the best time for digging because the ground is pretty easy to dig through, whereas winter time is best for surface collecting because that's when you can see stuff that's been washed off that people had dug up and just tossed aside. What do we got here? Nothing. And you can find some cool stuff that way. I found really cool rounds just from people not knowing what they found, and they just kind of threw up onto the corner of their hole, and all the rain from the winter rinsed it off. But since I haven't been out here in so long, I'm just kind of doing some surface collecting, or I'm checking the surface anyway, and to kind of see just what's here, and then start digging after a bit, and then probably when I get done digging, do some more surface checking just to see what we can find. I can come out here several times and always seem to find something cool, so I'm hoping that's the case today, which I'm sure it is. But we'll see. So what we got here, we have a fresh trench. This is all fresh dirt. And see what we got here. Ooh, nice little round. This looks like one of those limb casts that are, was it the Pseudomorph limb cast? So it's quartz after halite. So I'm pretty sure that's what that is, which is great because I've been giving a few pieces away and gotta replenish my stock. So that's cool. First find of the day. Sweet. Let's see what else we can find. So I'm in a tailings pile right now at the end of this trench, and I'm just kind of going through and seeing what I can find. I did find this piece of wood. Has a little some druzy. See if we can get a bit here. Has some druzy quartz there on the surface. And this would actually take a pretty good polish. So I'll set it aside there for now. But I'm going to keep sifting through here. And I'm just using my rock pick here and just sifting through, listening. See, I got something big right there. See what it is? Got another piece of wood. Nothing too crazy. Well, maybe not. See that right there? That's some carnelian agate right there on the surface. So we'll put that right here. And we'll see what else we can find. Sorry for the wind. I don't have dead cat for a mic or anything, so we're gonna keep sifting through here and see what we can find. Okay, let me see before I go into the pit here. Looks like it could be another type of limb cast. Yep, it's another one of those Pseudomorph limb casts. I can see some of the crystal structures in there a little bit, so put this in a bucket. And also, when you're rock hounding, bring a lot of water, because you don't want to get dehydrated when you're out rock hounding. Saw this, and it looks like the striations are going inward, and I haven't touched this yet. Yeah, it's a partial round. Alright, just found another little limb. You can see the rings. It's not a full round, but that's okay. As long as I can see the center rings, I'm going to count it. I did find another partial round too, but you can't really see much of the rings on there. And but it's still pretty cool. You can see where the bark would have been, but it's still pretty cool. Put that right there. There's a lot of wood out here that you know isn't rounds, but you can still find some really cool stuff. Like this piece here. You got some agate right at the end of my thumb right there, and then where'd it go? Ah, right there. Right there. There's some more agate. So I'll wash this up and see if it's worth taking home. And just found a nice little chunk of chalcedony. See that nice shine on there? Man, I'm out of breath. Sorry for the wind again, but out here in the far field, I found my old hole that I was digging in last time. So it took a little bit because everything's a little bit overgrown. But I found it. So last time I was digging over here, oops, and now I'm going to dig in this corner here. Looks like someone's been digging in it somewhat recently. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit and then start digging into the wall. So I had the pit cleared out here a little bit so I can sit down and kind of enjoy the shade while there still is a little bit of shade. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to remove a little by little here out of the wall. And I'm going to keep an eye out for any material that might be in here. And you can see that there is some material here in the bottom. And it seems a lot of the stuff that we've been finding is kind of in this lower layer here. And the thing is, you got to be persistent and keep looking. And also keep cleaning your workspace as you're going too, because that's the big thing. You can see there's a lot of material here in the wall. A lot of the stuff that's here in the wall is kind of like this weird, like chert material. It's not even petrified wood. So I'm going to keep digging here, and I'm going to see what I can find. And the goal is to find a nice agate limb cast, or even a nice large agate too. I'd be happy with either or. And but there's no promises to actually get anything. The best we can do is keep trying. So I took a break from the hole I'm currently in and went over here, saw some stuff sticking out of the wall, and I found a little limb. Don't know what the quality is yet until you wash it off. So I did wash it off really quick. You can see the little rings in there. It's not a bad find. It was literally just sitting in the wall. So someone just missed over this, and now it's mine. Sweet. Okay, so I'm done at the hole. It's getting a little warm. I'm going to drink half a gallon of water and get a little tired. So we're going to go ahead and cash out, and we'll look at our finds when we get back to the shop. So let's get back to the truck. All right, back here in the shop, and I'm going to start off with this piece right here. I thought was jasper. Turned out it's not jasper. It's some kind of weird shirt, and it's not very solid. So it was kind of a dud. And that's why it's important to wash stuff off before you come home, just so you're not having to pay for stuff that you didn't mean to bring home. And there was another piece here. It's not petrified wood. I think it's some kind of maybe jasper, a ball of jasper. I'm not entirely too certain. I'm going to have to cut this to find out for sure. Just because I couldn't find any wood grain structure on this piece anywhere. And it's got these really cool druzy pockets here on the surface. And here in the corner, it looks like jasper. And it's got quartz veining all through it. So this piece I'll have to cut at some point. Let me see here. I think I might cut it here, all the way to the other side. And then that way I can still kind of keep this cool stuff here on the side. And so we can also see what's on the inside of it. So there's that. And then there's this piece here. I thought it was chalcedony, but some kind of agatized piece of wood. I only see that because I found a large round one of a similar material. I just haven't cut and polished it yet, but it's just kind of very dark and cloudy like this one. And so I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And I have this pile right here. These are just kind of little cool pieces I thought I'd go ahead and get because the banding was cool on this one. It's pretty dense. I think it would take a polish if I were to polish it up. I could either cut it in half and have two pieces or just polish the face and call it good, but the growth rings on this are very interesting. These are the two pieces. Nothing too special. I just thought they were kind of cool. This one's heavily agatized, so it would take a pretty good polish. I don't remember exactly why I put this in the bucket, but whatever. And then we got this little piece right here. This one I dug out of the wall, or dug out of the pit. I threw this in the bucket because I thought it'd be really cool just to round it off and polish it with as much as the shape as I possibly could, and then maybe make a large pen out of it. So let me know what you guys think. Kind of a cool little square piece. These pieces here in the back. I mainly grabbed this one right here because I saw all the quartz veining here on the side. Let me grab a spray bottle. So I mainly grabbed it because of that. It looks really cool. I know if I can polish it, it'll take a really good polish. But then oh man, the water got in the quartz pocket. It's not sparkly now. But then when I pressure washed it, then I saw the quartz, druzy quartz pocket here. And then this little quartz pocket here on the side. So I thought that was really cool. I'm not sure how I'd really work it just yet. Maybe before to polish this, I'll probably just cut off the end here. And then that way I can polish this up and then not worry about damaging the druzy quartz here on the side and here on the top. And then maybe it would stand up on its own. We'll see. I grabbed this piece because I saw this little quartz pocket right here. And then pressure washed it. Didn't see anything else cool really on this one. Let's see here. This one I grabbed because I saw this. All the carnelian banding that's going on in there. And then I saw there was some more up here too. Now, again, for those that don't know, carnelian can be a very superficial color. Sometimes you can grain on it and all of a sudden it becomes clear quartz because a lot of times it gets its color from iron staining. But otherwise with this piece, it would actually take a pretty good polish just because if you can see all these cracks here, those are not open cracks. Those are actually quartz filled healed fractures. So this entire piece here, if I were to cut it, would take a really good polish. So this piece here, I found on the surface. I almost didn't keep it just because it looked like it was fractured up pretty heavily, but upon closer examination, all these cracks and crevices that you see are actually filled with quartz, and so it's been healed over time. So this is actually a very solid piece. It's pretty dense, and you can kind of see some of the structure going this way. So this would have been a pretty good sized round if it was a whole piece. Unfortunately, it's not. But did think it would be kind of cool to figure out a way someday to hand polish this entire thing, which would take a lot of time. But I already know that it would take a beautiful polish, and it would just feel really good in my hand. Maybe I'll do a video on it down the road. It won't be anytime soon because of a lot of projects that are kind of already on the shelf, but that is something that I do want to consider. Going on to the next pieces over here, this one doesn't look like anything special, but it's actually heavily agatized. The previous owners of the property called this Pecky Pocket Rot. The way I understand it, the wood was in the process of rotting before it had petrified. And so if you look here on the end, all these open cell structures are agatized. Can I see a little bit down here? But this stuff is absolutely beautiful. It's pretty hard to find this exact material out there. I found a partial limb once of some Pecky Pocket Rot, and I cut it in half, kept one side for myself, and I gave another to a friend of mine. Before I go to the back ones here, here's our little agate that I found in the wall, or in a pit. Nothing too special. This one, I didn't realize what I had until I pressure washed it, so that was a surprise. Look how sparkly that is. So this is a piece of petrified wood that has a lot of quartz on it. And I want to get it wet so I can show you something even cooler. Oh, it doesn't really show up very good in the camera, but this piece has a lot of depth. So see that white part right there? That's just a piece of petrified wood underneath the quartz surface. Same thing with these two pieces right here and that right there. That's underneath the surface. So there's a lot of depth to this piece. But I do definitely want to polish this one up. I want to polish it up right here. And then I think right around the edge, right there, and then leave the rest alone. Just because I don't want to ruin the beautiful quartz pocket that's in this one. This right here, I'm not sure what kind of wood it is. All I know, it really caught my attention. Just the way that the wood grain is going. Maybe some kind of palm? I'm guessing. I could be wrong. I could be way wrong. But that's such a beautiful piece. I wish I could find a nice big chunk in this, but this will have to do. So the last of the wood that's behind here are either rounds or partial rounds. And this little one here is a jasperized piece of wood. Right down here we have the heart of the wood, so it's a partial round, a very much partial round. Most of it's missing, but it's still really cool to have different variety. So, you know, with this being jasperized, I don't think I'm really going to work with it because I don't want to risk damaging it, because if I did work it, I had to probably work this side and polish it down. But you get a divot here and then a divot on this side, so the chances are I'd probably end up breaking it, and I don't want to do that. So this is more of a display piece more than anything. And this one I distinctly remember actually digging out of the second pit that I was looking at. And with this piece here, I'll probably just cut it in half, polish both ends, or polish the cut side and call it good. But you can see the heart of the wood there. Hard to know if it'll take a good polish. It seems kind of Maybe it will. It's really hard to tell, but maybe it will. Man, those blue jays are loud. And then there's this piece here. A nice partial round. You see the heart of the stone there. You can see the growth rings. Really good find. I think if I were to ever polish this up, I'd probably polish this side since it's more of a dome surface, and I wouldn't have to grind as much away. Whereas this is more of a concave surface, and it'd be a chance of me losing material because this part of the stone is pretty thin. And then we have this piece here. It is more or less a full round piece. It's not a huge limb though. It's pretty thin, but you can still see the heart of the wood on both sides. You see all the growth rings. Whether or not I'll take a polish, it's entirely up in the air, but it never hurts to try, right? So maybe at some point I'll grind and polish the surface here, put that on the shelf and call it good. Someday I should invest in a petrified wood book so I can identify some of these woods, because that'd be super helpful. And we got this piece here, another partial round. You can see the heart of the stone here. See some of the growth rings. On the other side, same thing. Heart of the wood is right here. Some of the growth rings. It's not a full limb. It's very much a partial, but this piece will definitely take a really good polish. This piece I dug out of the pit that I was in. I saw about that much of it sticking out when I finally got around to finding it, and then I had to actually dig it out of the ground, and then came out in a really nice piece. And I'm actually fairly happy this is a partial limb. Yeah. And it's hard to know when this broke off, because it'd be really cool if this was actually a full round or a full limb, but unfortunately it didn't. It was a partial. See heart of the wood right here, and then you got all the nice growth rings all the way around. This piece I'd probably just polish the end of this side and probably just call it good there, just because I don't want to risk ruining the rest of it. So these last two here, these are petrified wood with pseudomorph inclusions. So it's quartz after halite. Now these are very hit or miss if they're going to turn out good once you cut them, and they are very difficult to take a polish. And I'll show you here in a minute. These are just really cool specimens, if anything. The quality can range from not the greatest to kind of cool. They're just a cool specimen, and I look for them when I go out in the field, just because a lot of times people will go out there, they're looking for like really big limbs or whatever, and they'll find a lot of this stuff and they'll throw it aside, no big deal. Well, I go out there during the off season and I look for these little discards because they're cool. Now this is a better example. So this one, if you were to cut on the inside, it wouldn't be as nice. It'd be kind of meh. But this one, it would actually look kind of cool if you were to cut it open, because you have the heart of the stone right there. You can see the growth rings, but you can also see all the crystals, the inclusions. So that's really cool. And then here on the end, that's just super neat. So here we have this piece. I'm pretty sure I found this on the surface when I was there one time, and it's been out the pile ever since. Well, I decided to polish one side of it. So if you take a closer look, all those little squares are now quartz. So it's quartz after halite. So salt crystals. It's pretty cool. Now, the downside to this material, it's very hit or miss on how well it will take a polish. Now you can see I did an okay job until I got to the center. The center is still relatively soft, and so I could not get a good polish on the center. But the rest of it looks amazing. I had a great time digging today, and if you want to have a chance to dig for your own treasures, I'll leave the contact information for the Old Market Ranch in the description of this video so you can be able to do so. And if you do go out there, be sure to plan ahead, bring tools, bring food and water, but pick up after yourself and respect the property. But that's going to do it for today. I'll do a future video on polishing some of this stuff up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Rock on.